Hello, everyone, and welcome for this new session that I wanted to just start and jump on a topic that is quite hot, let's put it that way. I had so many questions, let's put it that way. Questions is the right word. After CB Insights released their AI readiness report for the pharma industry, I think it was last week, if I remember well. And on that note, a lot of questions started to puzzle. So it was great, right? A lot of people started to ask about AI readiness, maturity. So it seems to be a great time for consultancy firm at the moment because those questions are just there. So what I will recommend to do right now, just we're going to unpack some of the CB Insight talk, especially on the pharma readiness, and we'll react to it, simply put. So let's start.
Readiness index was much more neck and neck. So for this analysis, I looked at the top 50 companies by market cap together with their subsidiaries. And here on this slide for readability, I'm only showing the top 19 on the list, though we'll link to the published report containing the complete rankings in the chat. And two quick methodology notes I want to make here are one, this Pharma AI Readiness Index serves as an update to our last AI readiness analysis published in 2023. And given how quickly AI is evolving, we focused exclusively on activity from August 2023 when that report was published through May 2025. So essentially,
already, I think it's interesting to expect here that likely we are going to have much more of those reports, and it seems to be attracting quite a lot of interest. So interestingly, it would be nice to have a comparison, which we don't have here. So I think I'm going to dig a little bit for the evolvement and see what's happening. Interesting to see in this list basically why and how those top 10 or top 20 companies are there. I think she's going to cover that. A lot of people were looking at potential projects that were set up by those companies. So when you look at where those projects came from, usually those projects come from tech ops, like the factories, who have digital twins for the last 10, 20 years. So no surprise to see, companies that have like, sensors and IoT. So this is something that is not surprising to see companies that really invested heavily in their factories model a few years ago. And the second piece, I think, is the R&D organization that invested heavily in silico model for the scientific research or even clinical trials. So I think this is also where we will see quite an interesting boost in terms of, the readiness is not necessarily coming from commercial operations. So I'm hungry to see if we have an example that is linked to sales, medical, or marketing in that space, because when people think of Gen AI, they usually think of the front line, and here that's basically what I'm expecting to be covered.
Capturing everything that's happened since our last report. And second, we noticed a striking disparity in how pharma companies are approaching AI talent and leadership. Some companies have appointed AI leaders at the C-suite level, built dedicated AI teams across business units, and developed regulatory frameworks for using AI and machine learning. And others haven't shown the same level of organizational commitment. So because this talent gap proved to be such a critical differentiating factor, we retained the talent category as well from our 2023 framework. And what really struck me in this analysis is how much more competitive the landscape has become. The gap between second place Merck KGaA and fifth placed Roche is only 3.9 points compared to an 11-point spread in our previous rankings. So the top tier is incredibly tight, which tells us the industry is rapidly maturing in its AI capabilities. If we zoom in on what's underlying this fierce competition, it's that all the top players scored very strongly on internal AI initiatives. So within our execution category, which measures...
I'll stop her right here. So I think she said something interesting before, which was linked to the talent and culture, the readiness. We've seen that 15 years ago when people wanted to go from classical web, I have a corporate website, to I need to surf on the social media trend, to I need to be ready with, blockchain and everything new that comes to it. In this case, it's interesting to see that it's not necessarily new. I mean, those teams were building teams around data and AI for quite some years. I think this is, we need to be very differentiating a natural evolution of what the AI and data is coming to in terms of business outcome, what's in it for the business. And I think this is what I see here, right? I was drug discovery platform. Yeah. Okay, great. Facilities. Okay, great. So she seems to basically point that not all the company have created the talent pool to be ready for purpose and future proof. But she also basically is showcasing here that everyone is basically entering the race from one angle to another. So that will be interesting to see if the demand for talent who gets it is going to sustain, because we've seen in the last few years that people in the customer excellence management teams or digital marketing got bored simply because the transformation was simply not exciting, and it was basically a bit boring to scale projects globally. And here it seems that tech ops and R&D are showcasing a total new dimension on how AI is bringing value to the business. Let's see what comes next.
Internal deployment, many top companies received high scores. And looking at our top 10 companies, 3 deployment areas stand out. First is the construction of new state-of-the-art facilities. So amidst supply chain concerns from tariffs and geopolitical tensions, almost every major pharma company has committed to building new manufacturing and research facilities in the US or EU. And while most of these are still in the planning stages, companies intend to incorporate automation, IoT sensors, and AI into core workflows in these facilities. So this means that the next few years will be critical for testing AI integration at scale, and will reveal which companies best execute these technologies to reap time-saving benefits. The other 2 categories shown here aren't exhaustive, but represent common deployment platforms that we're seeing. So internal LLMs have become a standard practice amongst top players, with companies either developing proprietary models or, as Laura mentioned at the beginning of the talk, partnering with big tech like Microsoft and OpenAI for data querying and document processing across business units. Finally, drug discovery platforms represent the 3rd common deployment, where virtually every top 10 company is building internal AI platforms to help scientists analyze data, predict drug target interactions, and guide experimental design.
Oh, this is something we start to see, right? So she start to mention that companies has equipped themselves with LLMs, and they have started to build the infrastructure to be fit for purpose. So here, the build, buy, or run type of concept is really what we see in the heart of the conversation. So people are asking, what is the right model for me? I'm not a tech company. Should I basically find a tech partner and partner with someone agile that is not going to break me financially, or because it's so strategic to me because we've been running it for 5-10 years from the R&D and tech ops side, we have the critical mass and the maturity now to build a team around it and to build the infrastructure around it. So that is pretty much like the heart of what's going on in many big pharma company we talk to. She's just not approaching yet the commercial operations. I'm still hungry for the last frontier, right, where Gen AI is supposed to really unleash the value. Yeah, so I'm not surprised that some companies that have been at it for the last 5-10 years are still now jumping to the next stage of building or in co-investing at least with a tech partner to do it.
And these trends illustrate a shift in how we're evaluating AI readiness within pharma. Previously, our analysis focused on preparedness for an emerging technology. And now, with AI deployed across the industry, readiness really means effective implementation as well as agility to stay on that cutting edge. And given the strength of internal initiatives across top companies, external investments and partnerships became the key differentiating factor in our rankings. And given the weight on external activity, it makes sense that Lilly rose to number 1 this year from number 14 in 2023. As you may be aware, Eli Lilly has seen record-breaking profits from its GLP-1 products, and this windfall has given them flexibility to invest and partner across the industry. And Lilly has invested heavily in internal infrastructure, including having already built a digital-first manufacturing facility in Ireland, while also leading the industry in AI startup investments. And in a ranking weighted heavily towards external investments and partnerships, we'd expect results to correlate with market cap. Higher market cap companies typically have more resources for these activities. And the chart on the left here confirms this general correlation. However, two companies stand out as high flyers with AI readiness scores significantly exceeding what their market cap might predict. And that's Merck KGaA and Bayer, highlighted in the interest zone shown here. While matching their peers on internal AI initiatives, they distinguish themselves through partnerships and investment. So Merck KGaA recorded the second highest number of AI investments, trailing only Lilly's 13. And Bayer had the second highest number of business relationships at 21, just behind Roche's 22.
Yeah, I'm going to stop it just here. Sorry for that, but it's interesting. So she's mentioning that not everyone has the same size, but because they choose to do an external ecosystem partnership type of play, they managed to stay in the race and they managed to actually leapfrog from last year. So this is also what we see from an investor perspective, where not everyone is jumping on everything just to say they do AI. There is a much bigger reflection on what's a right play, what's good looks like as a company. So companies are much more mature in their way to decide where to invest, where to play, and they take that time. And they're also very conscious that other companies in this space, deep tech companies or big tech companies, are going to be much fit for purpose for helping them. So I think this is interesting. She's still not talking about commercial operations. I'm still a little bit hungry for that. But yeah, I would say if you're a mid-sized pharma company and you are not having a tremendous amount of resources to invest yourself, this is an interesting take. I really, really support this. And I've seen it work in not just in AI, but also previously when it comes to content factories or scalability, when it comes to digital transformation. This is an interesting approach to the strategy for being future-proof. The only thing that the market cap, the conversation and the discussion about Lilly and their recent success, yes, that is not new, right? If your business is flourishing, you have the cash to invest into your future. And that's also one strong message I have for people working in the industry and also supporting from outside. The late stage portfolio of drugs is the one that is fueling the future. So not only is the new drugs that have less than 4 years old in the market, but all the drugs that are in the business since like 15 years, 20 years, 10 years, this is what is fueling the growth. And we shouldn't just basically focus on the new and without making sure there will be bills paid for the future, right? So I would say for anyone working on this, preparing the roadmap, make sure you have the cash cow basically somewhere working to fuel your ambition.
And that ranking second and third respectively, they demonstrate that a strategic focus on AI can elevate AI readiness regardless of market cap. And so with that, I'll conclude just by kind of reiterating that this new wave of facility investments that we're seeing in pharma creates an opportunity to integrate AI and robotics from the ground up. So the next few years will be critical for testing these technologies at scale in pharma and determining industry leaders. And second, AI is now a strategic imperative across pharma, and internal capabilities alone won't develop competitive advantage. Increasingly, innovation is coming from collaboration within the pharmaceutical industry, and so external partnerships are critical to AI readiness. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Tom.
Okay, so yeah, interesting. So not so surprised about what she's saying. Yeah, I was expecting to have much more conversation around the commercial operation. What do we do with the sales rep, the scientific affairs team, the marketing team, the Gen AI side of things? So I'm a little bit Not disappointed, obviously, because data is data, and it's always great to have like a benchmark. But I'm questioning who participated in the panel or the research, because it seems to me that this is much more R&D, IT, or tech ops people. That I'm not sure there is a commercial team answering the information there, or if they used financial data, from the external side. You have public reports, and you can extract some data. Usually, analysts do that. So I'm a little bit still hungry for more when it comes to AI and disruption of the commercial ops. Because if you're really customer centric and you follow where is the touch point of those brands, usually the commercial operation is where the experience start to be a little bit more magical, in terms of real disruption. So I'm a little bit like on that one. Still expecting. On the comments what she did on the AI and robotics, yes, a no-brainer. On this, clear. The next generation of innovation is going to be on the automation, and AI is going to be the brain of that. So if you're in the factory setting, for sure, you're going to see a lot of gains when it comes to robotics. When it comes to ecosystem partnerships, not new. I think it's just being tremendously accelerated. And also remember that if you have a big VC investing in the science of AI, it's less money to invest in the deep tech that you can actually allocate in your business case as a pharma company. So I think there is also strategic choices not to follow the rat race of AI right now, which is sucking a lot of VC money. Actually also making VC money a bit stressed for all the venture line, like digital health. So I would say it's an interesting 6 months, 9 months, maybe a year from now to explore what are the partnerships that are going to emerge. And also I will recommend people to monitor what banks are doing, because banks are heavily investing in their own patent, their own IP when it comes to AI, to be very, very free of any blockage, any market pressure. And pharma is not. Pharma is literally partnering a lot and very dependent on the external ecosystem. So a very, very different play, but two regulated industries trying to transform with two different playbook. I think it's always useful to benchmark what another big industry is doing. At least for now, for going fast, yeah, the ecosystem partnership is a strong play for that. Thank you for watching. So I just wanted to react to that CB Insight report. So happy to have much more comments on this video and continue the conversation. Fascinating times. If there is like any follow-up you want us to do, yeah, just shoot. We'll do that. Keep safe. Enjoy the summer. To the next one. Thank you.